Hello guys, welcome to KTO channel. In this video we're gonna see about rocket science. Rocket science is very awesome. Rockets are a pretty cool vehicle in the earth. Actually I'm very inspired by rocket science, so I'm gonna make a series in the explanation video in our KTO channel. In that we're gonna discuss about physics in the rockets and some technology in the rockets, and also we're gonna do projects like this. For example, this is my first model rocket that I'm using a technology called stability fins, which is controlled by Arduino. So we're gonna do rockets like this, and I also launched this vehicle as soon as possible, so stay tuned for that. And another thing, I'm also very beginner in the rocket science, so any mistakes in my video please comment down below so that I can correct my mistakes. So now let's see basics of rocket science. Okay, before getting to basics of rocket engines and rocket stability, we have to know the basic principle of rockets. Okay, rockets works in many principles, but one common principle which every rocket works is called Newton's third law of motion. Newton's third law of motion was well-known principle for everyone, and it says a force is a push or a pull that acts upon an object as a result of its interaction with another object. These two forces are called action and reaction forces and are the subject of Newton's third law of motion. Formally stated, Newton's third law of motion is for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So let's see an example to understand the principle better. Wow. Okay, you can see that when I throw my ball in the wall, it just reflected to me. Because I already said in my definition of the law that when we give a force in the surface, there always be an opposite force. That's why when I throw my ball in the wall, it just reflected. Because I give a force by my hand, by throwing it. Then the ball was hitting the wall and gets reflected. Because I said already, if you are applying a force, definitely there will be an opposite force. So this is why the ball was reflected to me, due to the opposite force. This is called Newton's third law of motion. So guys, I hope you are clear in this topic. This is how rockets work. Rockets producing force by producing thrust. This thrust is producing by the rocket's engine. I will explain the basics of rocket's engine in few minutes, so stay tuned for that. So the thrust is hitting on the surface and producing an opposite reaction due to Newton's third law of motion. So this force helps the rocket to lift up towards the sky. So this is the basic principle of rockets. Okay guys, now we're gonna talk about something very important and very basics in every rocket. If you don't apply the two things, the rocket may not be fly stably. So stability is very important in every rocket to fly. So let's see what is center of mass and center of pressure. Okay, first I will explain what is center of mass. Before that, we have to know what is mass. Mass is quantity of matter which is made up of, which everything is made up of, because everything has mass. For example, the camera and this Google Home and this toy. So everything has mass. Now you might think that, then what is the difference between weight and mass? Actually there are many differences in that. For example, if you're standing on earth, your weight will be 50 kilograms maybe. If you're standing on moon, your weight will be decreased or low. Because the gravitational pull of the moon is very low comparing with the earth. So your weight also very low there. If you're standing on a planet that has more gravitational pull, if you're comparing with earth, your weight can be more than 50 kilos. So weight can be differs according to the gravitational pull of the planet. But mass is not like that, because mass is constant everywhere, even in earth, moon or anywhere in the universe. So this is called mass. Quantity of matter which you made up of is called mass. So mass is constant. Okay, now I will explain what is center of mass. For example, I will take this rocket, my model rocket. The center of mass of it is here. Yeah, you can easily identify, right? But I can't use this method by hand lifting for these rockets because these are very huge and it has more calculation to identify its center of mass. Okay, center of mass is nothing but, for example, I will take again my rocket and center of mass of it is here. You can see here. So in this area and in this area has same mass. So I will say that the two connecting of same mass is called center of mass. Or we can also say that the two masses which is are same or
concentrating.
I mean the total mass are
Concentrating.
this area, so that only you can lift this rocket on one hand. So all the mass are
Concentrating.
is called center of mass. Okay, so center of mass how helping in stability? If the center of mass is not correct, if the mass of this area is higher than here, then the rocket goes on the straightly, then the center of mass is higher, so attraction of gravitation pull goes down. Then the rocket will be destroyed. So center of mass plays an important role in stability of rockets. So if you have to note the center of mass varies correctly. Now let's talk about the center of pressure. Have you noticed that if you're going on a bicycle in a super cool speed, something will resist you and something will hit? It's due to air. The same feeling the rocket has when it goes on a super cool speed straightly towards the sky. So for that we have to correctly note the center of pressure
Where it is?
and it should be lesser than the center of mass. So I will explain. Okay, when this rocket goes in a very super cool speed towards the sky, the air will hit the rocket here, everywhere in the rocket. So like the center of mass, the air also has the center of pressure. For example, the center of pressure of the rocket is here, then the pressure applied on this area and this area are same like the center of mass. So when the center of pressure also not correctly applied, then the rocket will attracts by the gravitational pull and destroy. So center of pressure also plays a main role in the stability of rockets. So center of mass and center of pressure are very important. And another thing, center of mass should be higher than the center of pressure. Okay, let me explain. Pressure always should be less than the center of mass. Because again I will take my rocket. If the center of pressure of the rocket is here, then the center of mass of the rocket is here. If I give like this, the rocket may not be fly stably due to the air resistance not correctly mentioned and also mass is not correctly mentioned. So that the center of mass always should be higher than the center of pressure. In this video they showed clearly that if the center of pressure is higher than the center of mass, then the rocket flies like this. If the center of mass is higher than the center of pressure, the rocket flies like this. It will automatically stable itself. So that always the center of mass should be higher than the center of pressure. Now you might be thinking that if I increase the payload, then the center of mass automatically higher than the center of pressure. Actually, you cannot do that. So to solve the problem, scientists found fins. Yeah, if I attach fins to my rocket, for example like this, then the area of air pressure will be increased in the bottom. So the center of pressure comes down automatically to balance the center of pressure in the rocket. So now the center of mass is higher than the center of pressure. Now let's see the basics of rocket engine. Okay guys, before getting to rocket engine, I want to say something to you. Have you already seen the images of rocket engine like these? But here, we're not going to cover all the things in the rocket engine. Because it has many valves, many pipes, many mechanism and many equations. And it was very tough to understand. So in this video, we're going to see the basics of rocket engine. In this video, we're going to see the concept of rocket engine, like open cycle rocket engine, full force stage engine, but I'm trying to understand the rocket engine fully, so I'm going to make a separate video on rocket engine as soon as possible, so stay tuned for that. Okay, before getting to rocket engine, we have to know what is propellant. Propellant is nothing but which helps you to propel, which helps you to lift the rocket by producing thrust with the help of rocket engine, so that's all called propellant. Three types of propellant are using in aerospace industries: solid propellant, liquid propellant, and predictively hybrid propellant. They mostly used in the solid propellants are ammonium chloride, ammonium nitrates, and potassium chloride mostly. And the best example for solid propellants are crackers. The best way to describe the solid propellant. And the liquid propellant, they mostly use hydrogen. I mean liquefied hydrogen. And they also use like RP1 and also methane. Yeah, for example, SpaceX Raptor engine, for that they use methane. So there are many good advantages in the methane as a fuel. So I will cover that in upcoming videos. So stay tuned for that.
Okay, now let's get in the basics of rocket engine.
The first engine we're going to discuss in the video is called open cycle engine. And this is a very rough and very simple and very basic diagram of that engine. So this is not a complete and full diagram of the open cycle engine, but this is a basic and simple and basic concept of that engine. So this is the diagram of the open cycle engine. The essential things in every rocket engine are oxygen, absolutely, and the fuel for the combustion. So combustion, the main process in the rocket engine. Okay, now you can see these two tanks, number 1 and number 2. And the first tank is used to store fuel and the second tank for used to store oxygen. So this is very essential in the rocket engine. Okay, now you can see these three things. 1, 2, 3. These are called turbine pumps. Turbine pumps are very main in every rocket engine. So I will explain in a few minutes. So, and this area you can see here, this area with the turbine pump is called pre-burner. Pre-burner is also plays a main role in the open cycle engine. I will explain in a few minutes, so stay tuned for that. And you can see some pipes, some valves, and here finally combustion chamber. This is a traditional bell structure combustion chamber. Now I will explain the process of open cycle engine. First of all, the two tanks start to release the fuel and oxygen like this. And come to this area, and the main thing starts from here. Because this is the first phase, the oxygen and the fuel mix together and start the combustion in the pre-burners area. So the combustion force, due to the combustion force, the pre-burners turbines start to run, and the pre-burners turbines rod is connected to the other two turbine pumps, and due to the rotation force, the other two turbine pumps also start to rotate. Due to the rotation, all the fuels and the oxygen come to this area and start to make a big combustion in the combustion chamber. So finally, they will give a large thrust like this. Due to this thrust, the rockets are lifted towards the sky. So this is a basic and this is a simple concept of open cycle engine. So you might be thinking that then what about pre-burner? And finally, the first combustion takes place here, and this force and this thrust comes to this area and finally goes here like this. But this pre-burner does not give any thrust for the rocket. Pre-burner is just to feed this two turbine pump so that it will regulate the fuel and oxygen very speedily and gives a full thrust to the rocket. So pre-burners also plays a main role in the rocket engine. But we cannot get the full efficiency or the oxygen and fuel in this open cycle engine, because the pre-burner's thrust is also takes some fuel and oxygen and gives some thrust, but it is totally waste, right? So now you might think that why not we can give the pre-burner's pipe straightly to the combustion chamber. If you think like this, congratulations. So this is the second engine that called full flow staging engine, or also called closed cycle engine. So simple, right? Okay, what if I give the pre-burner straightly to the combustion chamber? Like this. If I give like this, then the combustion is like this. Like this. It's not easy to straightly give the pre-burner to the combustion chamber. So the mechanism is a little bit changed in the closed cycle engine. So for that I want to draw a new diagram. Actually, the higher pressure always goes to the lower pressure. It's a very common thing, right? The rocket engine has many processes and many problems in that. For example, the one common problem is heat. When they start their process, they will release a very crazy amount of heat. The heat will definitely damage the rocket engine totally. So that we have to run the pre-burner in less than the optimal ratio. So pre-burner is the highest pressure point in the entire rocket engine. So we have to do that very carefully. And so either too much fuel is fuel rich and too much oxidizer is oxygen rich. Okay, now let's get in the full flow stage engine. First of all, scientists did not make a big difference between the open cycle engine and full flow stage engine, but they are little bit difference. I will explain it. First of all, they take the oxidizer tube and straightly connect it to the pre-burner, and the oxidizer tube did not go to the combustion chamber, and instead of that the pre-burner tube straightly goes to the combustion chamber, and as same as the fuel tube goes to the pre-burner as well as goes to the combustion chamber. So this is the first and simple concept of the full flow stage engine. So now we have to get the perfect efficiency of the rocket. So after a many development of rocket engine, finally scientists developed the perfect and standard model and perfect concept of the full flow stage engine. This full flow stage engine gives us a perfect efficiency of the rocket engine. And this full flow stage engines are using the modern engines. Modern rocket. So this is very good. And the simple diagram and simple concept of the full flow stage engine is here. It looks little tough, right? But not. It is very easy. But this engine plays very tricky because it has two pre-burners. That's very crazy, right? Okay, I will explain it. For all, the rocket has oxygen and fuel. It's a very common thing, right? So I will name it as 1 and 2. And it has oxygen and it has fuel. Now the same as we seen in the open cycle engine, the fuel comes to this pipe and the oxygen comes through this pipe and come to here. The first combustion takes place in the pre-burner. We already seen the open cycle engine. The same thing happens here, but with little different mechanism. I will explain it. So there are two pre-burners, so I will name it as 1 and 2. So in the first pre-burner, the oxygen and the fuel comes to this area to place the first combustion. And this is the fuel, and this is the oxygen tank come to this area, and this is the fuel tank come to this area. And the second pre-burner also same like this. The oxygen come to this area and the fuel come to this area. The same thing happens here. But here you can note that both the oxygen and the fuel tank pipe are not coming to the combustion chamber. Instead of that, the two pre-burners are coming to the combustion chamber. One is oxygen rich and another is fuel rich. So that's it. So already the first combustion takes place here and here, and due to the combustion force, the turbine pump of the pre-burner start a rotation. So that due to the rotation force, the rocket engine turbine pump also start to rotate. So that because of that, all the thrust, all the combustion take place here, the combustion chamber, and gives a big thrust and with the full efficiency. So So this is the modern concept of the full flow stage engine. So it is very easy, right? And that's it. Thank you for watching this video. Any mistakes in my video, please comment down below and also give some tips how I can improve my video. So I'm going to make a series in a rocket engine and also make some electronic projects. So please give a support in every video. So thanks for watching this video. Sunandan, you are watching KTU channel. Science is not tough, but it is tricky. Thanks for watching.